Okay, Chair, we are now streaming live on YouTube. I'm handing the meeting over to you.
You're muted, Paul.
Thank you very much. Straight face time. Good evening and welcome everybody to East Devon District Council's virtual cabinet meeting on the 2nd of December 2020. I'm the leader of the council, Councillor Paul Arnott, and therefore I'm chairing this cabinet meeting and welcome anyone watching via the live streaming. Everybody taking part today is doing so remotely as well as being live streamed, and we're being recorded, so please be careful with your language throughout and remember that you're also under the code of conduct. We reserve the right to remove and disconnect any participant disrupting by whatever means. Please could you turn off or mute any telephone devices. We're dependent on an internet connection and a power supply, and if that breaks down and we can't reconnect within 15 minutes, we will reconvene at a later date and there'll be details on the website. Please make sure all microphones are muted when you're not speaking to avoid any background noise levels, and as ever we're all grateful if you keep your points reasonably short and don't repeat points that have already been made, and of course don't interrupt. If you would like to comment, please do by raising your electronic blue hand and I will call you. All councillors have been sent the agenda for today's meeting, and if the public would like to view that, they can do so on our website. So we will now start the meeting by doing a roll call of committee members here present. Can you please now unmute? And when you hear your name, please confirm by saying present. And when you've done that, please go mute again. Over to Amanda.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Arnott.
Present, Amanda.
Councillor Hayward.
Present. Thank you, Amanda.
Councillor Armstrong.
Present.
Councillor Bailey.
Present.
Councillor Jackson.
Present. Thanks, Amanda.
Councillor Young.
Present.
Councillor Ledger.
Present.
Councillor Loudon.
Oh, he's offered his apologies, Amanda. My apologies for that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Rickson.
Present.
Councillor Rowland.
Present, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I can confirm that you are quorate today.
Thank you very much, Amanda. We go first to item 1, public speaking, and there are no members of the public registered to speak this evening. Item 2 is apologies. Yes, I'd like to offer the apologies for Councillor John Loudon, please. Do we have any other? Not that we're aware of. Okay. Can I ask Amanda then to do a roll call for our declarations of interest, please, under agenda item 3?
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Arnott.
None, Amanda.
Councillor Hayward.
None, thank you.
Councillor Armstrong.
None.
Councillor Bailey.
None.
Councillor Jackson.
None from me.
Councillor Young.
0.
Councillor Ledger.
None, thank you.
Councillor Rickson.
None, thank you.
And Councillor Rowland.
None, thanks, Amanda.
Thank you very much indeed for that, Amanda. We now go on to the main item. Well, no, we don't. We go first of all to agenda item 5, confidential or exempt items, and there are none which have been identified in this way. We go to agenda item 6, which is the main and sole meal for tonight, the statement of intent in preparation for the council plan. We will bring on our CEO in just a moment, and if I can just kick it off with a little sort of nourishing statement from the leader, that's me. Very pleased that you are all here tonight. This administration has been in office for 6 of the most turbulent months in the history of local government. Our officers have risen to the occasion splendidly and may yet have to do so for some time to come. I would like to thank, on behalf of the Cabinet, both them and members of all allegiances who have gone above and beyond over this last 6-month period. Despite this challenge, the administration has already executed significant moves both to build on our legacy and to redirect the approach of the Council. In order to take back control of our planning processes, we have withdrawn from the guest and replaced that with a full engagement with other district and county partners in a non-statutory joint infrastructure plan. In Exmouth, where the history of the seafront development has been troubled, we are encouraging a more public participatory approach to the extraordinary natural resource of the town's coast. We are also determined to help the people and members from Cranbrook to get their community moving forward to completion, and together with Exmouth and drafting the new local plan, this will be a central plank of our work. Throughout these and other priorities, we will seek to improve our environmental standards and the transparency of democratic involvement as core priorities. Economic regeneration to a green and local agenda will be critical, and widespread unemployment on the horizon. And towns, for example, Axminster, will also become the focus of efforts to build growth fit for the 2020s. As we move out of this first extraordinary 6 months, we look forward to being able to work more closely with members from outside our partnership group, and all ideas will be heard. Personally, I'm especially interested in how we might boost our tourism offer and economy here in the Jurassic Coast hinterland, and how we roll out truly attainable homes, both of those drawing down on resources from the government's promised green growth funds. All of that said, it is important to remember just how much of this council's work for the people of East Devon ticks over via the daily hard graft of our employees. Above all, we wish the council to be a good-humoured and empathetic environment for both the staff and elected members, all of whom give so much of their lives to the common good. I would urge all members, please, to remember at all times to deal with our staff and officers with the respect that they deserve. As we bridge between the past and the future, we are now issuing this interim statement of intent, which will inform the next 6 months of developing a full council plan 2021 to 23. And we look forward to many more discussions in the coming months. One little bit of housekeeping from me before I hand over. With the next phase of COVID-19 restrictions now upon us, it is important to ensure that EDDC continues to provide the very best services to its residents and that our staff are protected and supported. We also need to ensure that members of the council are able to offer assurances of future support and an economic recovery response, as well as to deliver the ambitions in the statement of intent and then the next council plan. It is therefore our intention to undertake a management review, and I'm asking the Chief Executive to bring a report to the 6th of January Cabinet meeting with a view to this being carried out and giving more details on timings, the scope of the review and potential budget requirements to do so. This will help ensure that the Council enters 2021 in the best shape to meet the challenges ahead, reflecting the ambitions of the Council as laid out in this statement of intent and onwards. Thank you very much for listening to that lecture. I'm now very pleased to invite our CEO, Mark Williams, to offer us to introduce the statement of intent. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Leader. I don't think there's actually a lot to add in terms of the content of the statement of intent. You've clearly highlighted the key aspects of that. I guess from my perspective, it would just be highlighting to Cabinet and those members also attending the timetable that's included in the main body of the report rather than the appendices. So if you have a look at it on page 4 of your agenda, clearly we're in December now, so the statement of intent is something that we'll go forward to council next week, and then really it's looking into the new year. So January and February of any new year is always intensely busy because we have the process of bringing to you your service plans for approval and the draft budget, in this case for the 2021-22 year for approval. I think you can add to that, obviously, probably the implications of Brexit, depending on whether there's a deal or there's a no deal, and then also the additional work that the leaders just referenced. Leading into that, I think one of the things we thought was important in terms of the timetable is the member workshops and public engagement. So particularly around, the sort of year-long hiatus perhaps that we will have had from COVID by then. I know there's excitement about a vaccine potentially being rolled out this month, but in reality, I'm not sure many ordinary members of the public will sort of be able to access the vaccine until late February, early March time, but hopefully before that, but probably not. But you can see then that, we're suggesting that, an extensive period of workshops with all members and also a degree of public engagement will be important for the new council plan. And then we'd go back into our sort of more established structure of taking it through the committees, the cabinet, and a final version hopefully being published in July of next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark, indeed. Before I come to take questions or remarks from members of Cabinet, can I invite anybody who is outside Cabinet to come forward with any comments or questions by raising a blue hand? And I can see that they're rearranging at the moment. It's like the bingo, they're jumping around. I see Councillor Paul Miller, please.
Thank you, Chair. I think thanks very much for the introduction. I think it's a regret that poverty wasn't highlighted either in your speech or in this one-page document. I think it's just as important as the other priorities and deserves to be highlighted in any future council plan. Obviously, we're in the current progress on creating a strategy, but I'm a bit puzzled as to why that isn't in the one-page report. Must admit, I found a few key sentences in the report a bit difficult to read. Significant typo in the last most important sentence, which hasn't actually been changed, so struggle for me to read it. But I'm looking forward to the member workshops that you've announced. I think that's a fantastic idea, and I'm looking forward to how this council plan will progress. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Miller. I'm just wondering, Councillor Miller, did you follow the links through to the statement of intent itself, which is, I think, 14 pages? And although I can't promise you the word poverty is in there, I suspect it may well be. Anyway,
Yes, it is.
It is. Thank you, Jess. I thought it was. Councillor Steve Gazzard, please.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I must apologise. I haven't been able to view the 14 pages that you just referred to. But like Paul Miller, I am really concerned that it would appear that there's not been much mention of poverty. And unfortunately, it's going to go on for a very long time due to the situation that we find ourselves in. And it's going to affect more and more people of all ages. And I really do hope, and I'm sure you will, Chair, treat poverty as a real emergency and give it the thought and desire and everything that it deserves, because it's getting worse by the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Can I just come to Jess Bailey first then, please, because I think she can help us with that.
Thank you. Yes, there is reference to poverty. At Appendix 2, it says, as a council, we also wish to reduce poverty and deprivation and intend to use our resources to achieve this. And then also in the bullet points, we intend to create and implement a poverty strategy to reduce hardship and inequality in the district. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jess, for that clarification. apologies, members. It is a bit of a funny one, this, isn't it? Because you get the front page and then you've got to go through the links to get to the other stuff. We might have thought about the ease of presentation for that, I think. Can I come back to the CEO, Mark Williams, please?
Yeah. So yes, it was just more that I've absolutely no doubt poverty will feature quite highly. I mean, the reports that I'm getting from our revenues and benefits team and our grants, hardship grants application team, so that we're seeing requests for assistance coming through from areas in the district that we've never before encountered. I think we've always had an element of it in certain parts of the district, but it is certainly the case that it seems to be much more widespread now. So I'm sure it will undoubtedly feature, just to reassure you.
Thank you. I think there's a meeting next Monday or Tuesday, isn't there? Jess or Megan, do you know? You're chairing a meeting.
Monday.
Next Monday.
Monday.
Thank you, Paul.
Would
please
you mind?
do, Megan. Yes,
Yeah,
go on. Yes, please.
Thanks, Chair. I think most people in the council should know. I'd be really surprised if they don't know that we're actually trying to get together a poverty strategy, and that's the whole point of the meeting. So I'm bemused rather as to these questions about why we're not concentrating on poverty. We're doing our very best to get something sorted ASAP, and so I think if people can just bear that in mind. And it is going ahead, and there will be a poverty strategy, hopefully, by the summer, if not before, depending on officers' time. But that's what the intention is. And so I think we could just leave it at that for now, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Armstrong. Can I come to Councillor Paul Jarvis, please?
I'm just going to second, and I'm so pleased that Councillor Bailey and Councillor Armstrong, along with Mark Williams, has indicated, and I think it's fascinating, maybe not fascinating, that Mark Williams has pointed out that we're seeing a demand in areas we've never seen them before. So many individuals who took up the call from the government to get into being self-employed suddenly find themselves on an edge cliff. So I'm just pleased that I've heard what I've heard. And as Megan has said, we have a meeting on Monday, and we are all intent on making sure that this council follows through and it directs people to where they need to be and assists everyone who needs our assistance.
Thank you very much, Councillor Jarvis. Councillor Miller, I see your blue hand is up. Do you want to come back on?
Thank you for letting me back in, and I'll be as brief as possible. I just wanted to clarify that I am aware that there is poverty in the other report. My point was, perhaps I didn't make myself clear, was that I didn't believe it was highlighted in the front page, where obviously climate change is highlighted. The thrust of my point really being is that, from what I can hear, I'm slightly reassured that poverty, in my view, should be a joint number one priority. Others may disagree, but the point I was making, I don't know why it was misunderstood. I've read all of the papers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I suppose don't judge a book by its cover or a sausage by its skin. I don't know what you can say. Yeah, I don't think anybody would think that the word missing from the preface was intentional, but thank you, Paul, for bringing this point up and leading into this discussion. Now, is anybody else from outside Cabinet ready to rock? If not, can I please come, and with thanks to Councillor Jess Bailey, who has been instrumental in pulling this together. So Jess Bailey, please.
Thank you very much. I won't speak for very long, but I want to really thank the officers who, as well as dealing with everything else, have found the time to talk to me and to start the discussions. I think it is going to be an exciting refresh of the council plan with a different, new focus, a shift in emphasis. And I'm really looking forward to having workshops in February, March and April, March and April anyway, to identify the priorities from all members across the council. And I've already started initial discussions with the CEO about how we engage with people outside the council. So if you have any thoughts on anything within the statement of intent, please drop me a line or give me a call. And I'm looking forward to it being a positive and exciting project. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Bailey. Councillor Paul Hayward, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to echo what Councillor Bailey has said. Councillors put work into this, and a lot of thought has gone into it, and thank you for Jess for marshalling it. I personally, putting that aside, would just like to come back to something that Councillor Miller and Councillor Gazzard raised, and that is the spectre of poverty and the increase in this that is now going to be seen in East Devon. If you take the benchmark of capitalism as McDonald's, that there are now more food banks in this country than there are branches of McDonald's, which is a startling fact. And on this, I think this is perhaps the single most important issue, along with climate change, because climate change isn't going away. As the economic tide ebbs and falls, climate change and the impacts of climate change will continue to affect us. But day to day now, poverty is a huge issue. And I would like to think that aside from everything that we do as a council, we are in politics, local councils are a political thing, but this is the one subject that every councillor on this council needs to get behind, regardless of the colour of your rosette. And that if it's used in any way as a political football to chastise or to ridicule or to belittle councillors or any administration, either way, then that's too far. We're talking about people's lives and the ability to live a happy, peaceful life, and that's completely undermined by poverty. It's an insidious thing. I won't go there. Many of us have experienced it, some haven't, but it's anything we can do as a council to assist. And a lot of the things we'll be dealing with are based on decisions made way out of our pay grade, far higher up the chain, but we will rise to the challenge and we will make sure no one in East Devon suffers inordinately because of things we could have done. If it can be done, we'll do it. On the statement of intent, again, thank you to Jess, thank you to all the councillors who've had input to it. And I look forward to working through the timetable, having those member workshops and having a final plan to work to so that everyone knows where we're going. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hayward. Can I come to Councillor Marianne Rickson, please?
Thank you, Chair. I'm just following up on this issue about poverty. Both Megan and I attended a webinar this week, or last week rather, which was about fuel poverty awareness. And that's absolutely such a sad indictment of this country that we are probably the 5th or 6th wealthiest country. Well, probably won't be after Brexit, but the point is that 10% of the population are in fuel poverty. So 1 in 10 are not able to heat their homes adequately or live in warm surroundings. This is an absolutely appalling situation.
Thank you, Councillor Rickson. Councillor Sarah Jackson, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm taking on board the points raised, and I know that the document itself does reference poverty in a couple of different places. But I'm also aware that in the vision statement that's in that document on page 2, there isn't any reference to that. But I do agree it is a very significant issue that filters into lots of different areas of the council's workings. And I just wonder whether there could be a slight adjustment to wording in either point 2 or 3 under vision, which gives reference to poverty further down in the document. I don't know what that wording should be though.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. I can't see that document at the moment myself, but I have to say it does strike me as being a very helpful idea. So if there are any natural drafts people out there amongst Cabinet who can think about squeezing an extra line in, I'd be very grateful to hear from you just as soon as I played for time a bit. Now, would anybody else like to come in at this stage? There doesn't seem to be anybody. Has anybody got any ideas then for how we might, because it does seem it's come from a wide number of members about poverty, and I think if we inadvertently misspoken by not including it at the front, why not? Let's do it. So, can anybody suggest where that may go and what the few words might be?
Would it be helpful if I read points 2 and 3 out?
Yes, please, Sarah. Thank you.
So under vision, point 2 is better homes and communities for all. And then it goes on to say, with a priority on the importance of good quality, affordable housing, suitable in size and location, Appendix 2. And then resilient economy, and I think it's Appendix 2 that's got the references in. Point 3 is resilient economy, bringing prosperity to the district, notwithstanding the current challenging circumstances, Appendix 3. I would have thought it would probably make sense to adjust the wording on point 2, just to give reference to the content that's in Appendix 3 with Appendix 2 with regards to poverty, rather than in Appendix 3. But discuss.
Yeah. Anybody quick of wit? I'm thinking of a clerk like Councillor Hayward, perhaps, or something. We just need a sentence there, don't we? I'd whip it up, but unfortunately, this document has failed on my screen, so I can't see it. So
I've got it on my in front of me. Give me a few seconds.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Oh, look, luckily, thank heavens, we've got John Golding coming in like the cavalry over the hills. Go on, John, and take as long as you like.
I'd suggest that I think item 2 is the right area to include that under the communities aspect. So you could just add a comma at the end of with a priority on the importance of good quality affordable housing suitable in size and location, and then a comma including a focus on eliminating poverty in a district, or reducing poverty, or tackling poverty in a district. It's a starter.
Okay, let's not go for eliminating, because we'd like to, but that's not going to happen.
Certainly reducing, Chair, if I might. But I don't think you'll ever eliminate it as much as we'd like to. But reducing, tackling that, it's a little bit, what does tackling mean? But reducing, that's a firm commitment. I'll withdraw now because I can see Councillor Rowland's got his hand up, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. So at the moment we've got on the table, including a focus on reducing poverty after the comma. Coming to Dan Ledger next, actually, please.
John Golding's pretty much just stolen it. I was going to put it at the start. So under better homes and communities for all, with a priority on tackling poverty and the importance of good quality, affordable housing suitable in size and location. So you just put it at the very start, so it's clear that that's what we want to do.
Okay, can you remember what you just said, Dan? And then we'll come back to that in a second. Councillor Jack Rowland, please.
Thank you, Leader. I was just busy scribbling something down, so I'll just read it out. I think it's perhaps crossing over, but anyway, food for thought. Poverty caused by loss of employment or illness or disability is an increasing issue and will be a high priority for EDDC to tackle through all means available to us.
Well, I think we've got a winner there, possibly, if we can think of 2 sentences to put that in between. Can you see a place for that to go, Jack or John?
I haven't got the document in front of me because
okay.
I'm not sure where that would fit, but I'm sure somebody could come up with a good suggestion.
Okay. In which case, at the moment, that seems like the strongest, most explicit contender. It's just, John, can you see a place in that where that might go? What Jack has just said.
Yeah, I guess if we end that sentence under Better Homes and Communities for All, and then just add that on, so put a full stop there and add that piece on, could go under that number 2 again.
Thank you, brilliant, John. Jack, could you just read that out once more, please, for our clerks, so that they've got that?
Yeah, it's a good job I wrote it down, wasn't it? Poverty caused by loss of employment or illness or disability is an increasing issue and will be a high priority for East Devon District Council to tackle through all means available to us.
Brilliant. Okay, that's very, very helpful indeed. Thank you very much, Jack. Well, in which case, if we have come to the end of the discussion on this, which I think we have, I need somebody, please, to just move that we accept this statement of intent, in which, of course, the timetable is of crucial importance. Is anybody happy to do that? Jess and Marianne seconding. So it's Councillor Bailey proposing and Councillor Rickson seconding. In which case, then, can we please go to a vote on that? A green cross for yes. A green tick for yes, a red cross for no. Thank you.
For the benefit of those watching online, the vote is now taking place. And
Ooh,
I did have 9-4, Chair, and then someone took their vote away.
Yeah, no, my green tick has gone crazy.
Okay.
So can you? I've got a hand up and unanimous.
Absolutely, Chair. So that is 9. That is unanimous for that proposal, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, extraordinarily, that brings us to the end of this meeting. And thank you so much yet again, everybody, for coming to yet another Cabinet meeting. I'll count how many there have been in the last 6 months soon. I think I've run out of fingers. Thank you, everybody, for coming today, including any members of the public who've been watching. Can I just remind all those present that the supporting officer will confirm when the meeting is no longer going live. And until then, your comments will, of course, be recorded and be seen live. And very good night to everybody. Thank you for coming.